Finally. Finally. She-Hulk. I feel we also haven't reviewed like a Marvel product in a minute, right? Well, we did Moon Knight, but I feel like that was like a long time ago.
Yeah, that does feel like a long time ago.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, but
yeah.
what has there been after Moon Knight? Refresh my memory.
She-Hulk, that's it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So
Nothing.
we're basically keeping pace. It just has been a while since it was a Marvel thing.
I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like there was a time when we were all about I think also because we didn't review because in the past, right? Like for what was it for WandaVision? Was it
Yeah,
only WandaVision or Loki too that we did almost every episode we reviewed?
yeah.
And that was
That,
fun, but
that shit is hardcore.
that was too much. It takes we got lives, people. We got work. We got other stuff. This is a hobby. We can't do that.
Word.
Um, but maybe we should set up a Patreon or something like that, right? Because
Give us money.
if people want us to do that for money, well, fucking, I'll do it. We'll fucking record
Word.
after every episode. Anyway, but obviously we're talking here with this is the Legion on Zoom. Finally gonna review She-Hulk. And this is Miguel
Yes.
with my boy Ches.
This is indeed Ches.
Yes. All right, so we're gonna talk finally, right? It was the how many episode long series was it? 6 episodes, was it? Or
Wasn't it 8?
wasn't it 9? No, I know, yeah. No, oh yeah, it was 9. It was 9 episodes. 9 episodes.
That's
All
an
right.
odd number.
9 episodes. All right. She-Hulk. There's thoughts. There's a lot of it's como si say polarizing on social media, which we'll talk about, which is actually kind of funny because it's
So odd.
because it fucking mimics a lot of the stuff that's happening in the show. But we'll see. So, but right, obviously, if you're watching this, get mad spoiler alerts, of course, because
OD.
if you're listening to us right now, I hope you've seen the show. Watch it and then join us as we're going to dive in to these whole 9 episodes, right? But obviously, this is about Jennifer Walters, right? Bruce Banner's cousin, who becomes a Hulk in and of herself, right? But she's a lawyer, right? The twist is that, right? Instead of being thrown into the superhero business from the beginning, it's no, she's a lawyer and tries to maintain both realities, which which obviously,
And she's the second Hulk in what turned out to be a long line of folks, I guess, because they kind of ran out of ideas at the House of Ideas at some point. But after Bruce, after Jen, there wasn't another Hulk for decades. Oh, and wait, one could say maybe Doc Samson.
well,
Because he's
damn, you're right.
Hulk-ish.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He is connected to the yeah, you're right, right? Because his strength came from getting exposed to gamma too, right?
Yeah. But this is weird thing where it's like it's connected to his hair. That's why he's like
Yes,
this
you're
is
right.
yeah. Which I don't know why he hasn't really appeared yet. But anyway,
Yeah, you're right.
So like after Jen Walters, there wasn't another Hulk for a long ass time, I think.
I believe you're right. I believe you're right. It's not until I think what was it, the early 2000s where we started to get all these different type of Hulk iteration from a Red Hulk to the Red She-Hulk to even his friend Rick Jones becomes a Hulk in and of himself. What was it called? I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, exactly. And then we got different kinds of main Hulks, right? So like Amadeus Cho became Hulk himself and yeah.
And I mean, one could make the argument. I'm not an idiot, folks. I know there's like the Gray Hulk, Mr. Fix-It, but that's just another version of the Bruce Banner Hulk.
Yes.
So it's like same dude.
We're actually yes, guys. As we're gonna dive into this, if you're a fan of the Hulk and the Hulk lore, we highly recommend for you to dive in to read The Immortal Hulk, which is by Al Ewing. Amazing run, dives into all these different personalities, the sides of Hulk, right? I also recommend reading into some of the other classic runs by Greg Pak, I think was his first name, like Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, and some She-Hulk runs as well. Like there was actually the famous, I think, second book of hers by John Byrne, which actually led to a lot of in that comic book had a lot of the fourth wall breaking, which is why she was doing it in the show. And then actually I've been reading right now what's on now on Marvel Unlimited by Rainbow Rowell, and it's actually good. It's actually pretty fun. But it's a very the Hulk stories that I just recommended were very comic book Hulk stories. These other ones are very like just like different types of book, kind of like the show a bit, like where she's a lawyer trying to do other shit, and then things happen. Like it's not a traditional type of superhero book, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, word. And I think she might have been one of the first major characters to break the fourth wall, right? Like even like way before Deadpool.
Yeah. I think you might be right. Yeah, I think you might be right because She-Hulk was created by Stan Lee and John Buscema, uh,
Mm,
who appeared in the first book called The Savage She-Hulk, #1, which came out in February 1980. Which actually, if you all saw the finale, it's kind of fun because in the finale, the intro one was a nod to freaking the Hulk, the series from the what
yeah.
the 70s, right? With Lou Ferrigno. And it was called The Savage She-Hulk in the finale, which I think was a nod to her first book. Um, so that's but came out in the 80s, and so but Deadpool wasn't created until late 80s, early 90s, right? I think
Yeah.
1990 probably came out. So yeah. She was one of the OG fourth wall breakers.
And I think this is the first time in the MCU proper that there's fourth wall breaking, period.
Yo, you're right. You're right. This would be the yeah, you're right. The first time.
Damn, that's crazy.
And it's like fucking like intense, right?
Shit, in the finale, they break shit the fifth wall, I think, but we'll get to that.
Get that.
Fuck. That
Oh
shit
my
was
God.
wild.
All right. So I think before we dive into the rest, I think let's just talk, I guess, in general, how did we feel? What did we just the general theme before we go into the full review? What are people's thoughts here? What are your thoughts, Ches? Did you like it? Did you
In general, I enjoyed the show. Like it wasn't bad. Um from all the fucking toxic acidic comments I read on Instagram, as all you all know, I like to scuba dive in the comment section, get a pulse on things. That shit was crazy. People hated this show. I don't know why. It wasn't that bad. It was enjoyable. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a major event. Well, I mean, it was like a subtle major event because having She-Hulk in the MCU is pretty big, but the way they went about it is like the show didn't take itself too seriously. You know, like it wasn't like a Loki or like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these were pretty big events, but you felt the weight. And She-Hulk, like it's a major event, but it was entertaining. It was like way lighter almost in a way than it should have been, but all around, fuck it, I enjoyed it. It was pretty good.
I agree. I loved it actually. I really enjoyed every episode and I looked forward to every episode. I really didn't know what to expect, which
Yeah,
was I think a refreshing experience, you know. And the other part about it, because I loved the comedy, because I did feel it was a very comedic. It was like a sitcom that we were watching, like a legal type sitcom. But
mm-hmm.
here, the comedy, I loved it more than all the other ones that we see. Because whereas I feel like all these other ones, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision, and they're serious. Like the plot is supposed to be pretty serious, but then they add in these random comedic moments, and it's like,
They're supposed to be
okay,
inverse. Yeah,
uh-huh, exactly. When it's just like, no, this is a comedy. They leaned into it well. Or like for instance, like we've talked about this. I hated Thor: Love and Thunder, and
facts.
because of that, because it was like, wait, are like we're talking about a god butcher, right? Who lost all his family, wants to fucking kill all gods in creation, but then we have fucking Thor being fucking silly as fuck, and not in a real funny way. Like it's just kind of like,
Word.
all right, that's kind of funny, I guess. And
Like it was like being silly for the sake of being silly.
oh my God, yes, exactly. Exactly. And with She-Hulk, and I think played especially super well by Tatiana Maslany, I loved her as Jen Walters as She-Hulk. I
Word.
don't
I
know.
did.
Loved
I
her.
I super enjoyed her as just straight up Jen Walters. Like
Yeah,
she's a very good actress.
exactly. And then it's crazy to see all the trolls out there talk shit about, because they also talk shit about the show in ways that are not like, look, if you didn't like it because of the way the acting, the story, or like that you have like legit comments. All right, well, cool, man. Whatever. You didn't like it, you didn't like it. But a lot of people I felt like didn't like it because of like, yeah, I hate to say it, but like toxic masculinity, like that they were like saying like that's not okay for a woman to do this or that, and saying this show supports toxic femininity or something like that. I was like, what the hell is even that? Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, what was wrong? What did she do that was like, uh,
Yo, dude, at this point, I just thought about something. It should be like hashtag toxic humanity.
yo, for
Bro,
real.
we are humans. People are different. It be like that. The one thing I didn't like was that stupid shit I kept on being repeated. Tony Stark died for this or Thanos was right. Like, really? Like, you hate it that much? That's wild.
This
Like, you can't
wild.
allow that, like, to enjoy the show.
Right.
That's some insane shit. Like, it's obvious that the show's not meant to be serious. Like, that's the point.
Right.
And then also, if you don't like it, just don't fucking watch it. It's wild that there's this like group of people that have this mind that there's a certain bar and everything has to be above that. Yo, with so many IPs, not all of them are going to be great. It's crazy to always expect the same amount of epicness. That's just
Right.
bonkers to me.
Right, but what's crazy, it's like I do feel it has to do with the sex though. Like it has to do with Jen being a
Of
woman. Like
course,
if
of course, of course,
like
of course, of
like and
course.
I think it's funny because we see that happen in the show, right? Because obviously the villains, the intelligentsia, which we'll talk about, right? It's all because of that, right? Because they feel like she didn't earn the right to be the She-Hulk, and right, comparing her to the actual to Bruce Banner Hulk, and it's like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, what? This is stupid as fuck. And what I loved about the show is I do think as lighthearted and kind of comedic and episodic as it was too, like, um, you know, I do think they did a good job of kind of showing what like reality would be for real for Jennifer Walters with all of this
Word.
going on, right? With people. I love that whole episode where she was like on basically Tinder for the MCU, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like where a lot of men were like, "Oh, I'm into you just as She-Hulk," and like, kind of being grossed out almost at Jen Walters, which I'm like,
yeah.
she was fucking cute. I think she's cute as Jen. She's hot as She-Hulk. I'm like, it's the best of both worlds, man. Come on, man. Like,
Facts. OD.
why are you being an ass? Like, and it's just weird too. Like, it's just yeah, like all, and but I feel like that's something that would actually fucking happen, right? And like the kind of the fucking people she dealt with, and the comments that people were making, and even the whole stuff of trying to como se dice, slut shame her, right? With like showing off of in towards the end the video of her having sex, and
Yeah, word.
like that's stuff that happens to powerful celebrity women, and even not even non-powerful women. Like, I think it just
No.
happens to women.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because I was just thinking, like, props to her, because she got laid over the course of the show.
Hell yeah.
She was getting deep. Anyway,
Hmm.
moving forward. What'd you think about the CGI of her as She-Hulk?
I thought it could have been better, but it was like I was like, all right, like
Yeah, I definitely had a few moments where I'm like due to the fact that a lot of crazy shit didn't happen with the set of the show, I felt like they could have pumped a little bit more money into the CGI. But
yeah,
overall,
yeah,
like I got used to it.
exactly. Same here too. Like I feel like at times I was just kind of thinking like, well, it's a TV show, right? Like it's not. I'm not watching a movie. Like if it was a movie, I would expect really better CGI. For this, I was like, well, like it's not the worst, right? But it's like, it wasn't, you know, like it felt kind of like a video game CGI almost, no? Like I don't know.
Yeah, shit. To be honest, I think if it would have been a video game, it probably would have had a higher budget than the show, and
Yeah,
the CGI might have been a little bit better.
right.
But it was still pretty cool. Like it had its moments. Like I
Right.
said, after a while, I got used to it, and I just grew impressed with just seeing how casual it was, like for her to transform and shit.
Right.
That was pretty dope.
Yeah, for real. I loved all that. And I loved also like all the cast and the characters, right? I actually really loved like I forgot her name, but like her assistants, the legal assistant who works with her. I
Oh,
thought
word! I forgot her name too.
She
and
was a
Pug.
fucking
I
great
remember his
friend.
name.
Oh, Pug's cool. She's cool. Like they're all great friends. Like I'm like, yo, I want to be friends with them.
Yeah,
They're cool people, man.
and then like the one who's like her frenemy,
Yeah, yeah,
the
exactly. The
intense one.
lawyer.
Yeah,
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 the
yeah,
intense
yeah, yeah.
lawyer. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say it like they're all lawyers. I,
Right.
ex,
Well,
ex,
except her close friend, with I think she's just a legal aid or something.
yeah, like a paralegal and shit.
Paralegal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're right, exactly. But fuck, man. Yeah, like that. They're all cool, man. Like even that episode where we had I forgot the name of right the other lawyer who's like her frenemy pairing up with her close friend with that dude trying to solve that fucking lawsuit of the guy that just kills himself when he's
Uh,
trying to get out of a relationship.
Mr. Immortal.
Yeah,
Yeah, isn't he
yeah.
from the what is it? What like the Great Lake Avengers or some shit like that?
Oh my God, is he? Yes,
Yeah,
he is.
and
Wait, no. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out, man. Who is this
like
person?
if I'm not mistaken, his background power, like he's straight up immortal to the point that like on his Wikipedia says like he's gonna be around to see the end of everything.
Oh my God, yeah, he's the leader of the Great Lakes
Yep.
Avengers. Oh my God.
I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy, and it's wild how they underplay how powerful he is on the show. But overall, that episode was pretty interesting.
Man, I love that. Like, and I thought that was funny, right? 'Cause, yeah, it was a Ginger Gonzaga. She plays Nikki Ramos, who's
Yeah.
the legal aid, the close friend, and then we have Renee Elise Goldsberry playing Amelia, who's the other lawyer.
Ah,
Yeah, and so loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I thought that was all fun, man. It's just it was just a fun show. Come on.
facts. And over the course of the show, we got a bunch of cameos, which I think this is like the most cameo filled show we've had so far. Because
So much.
it starts with fucking Bruce like off the rip.
Yeah. And like and legit, right? Like we got like I don't even think it's just a cameo, right? Like we got
Yeah. That
fucking
wasn't a
Bruce
cameo.
Banner, the
Yeah.
Hulk. He was in several episodes. I think he was in the first two episodes, was it right? Like he was
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
as when she got like because obviously there was a few differences between the comic books and how she got superpowers here. It's kind of about the same, right? Where she basically had a blood transfusion in the comic books. It happened because she was shot by like a mob or something related to a legal case that she was doing. And then but Hulk Banner was there, and in the moment Banner like did like rigged a makeshift blood transfusion thing
Of
instead of
course.
taking her to the hospital,
Of
and then
course.
gave her some of his blood. And then obviously then led to her becoming the She-Hulk. In the show was more about
It
like
was
she just
an
had
accident. Yeah.
yeah, and she had an open wound, and some of his blood got into her open wound, which is gross, and then she became the She-Hulk.
So it's still a transfusion of sorts,
Right,
like
right.
of sorts, just minus the IV.
Right. And so from that, thanks to that, we got a lot of great time with Bruce Banner. And then what I loved about it too, because I believe that they were cousins. Like the way they interacted with each other as, as just Bruce and Jen or as Hulk and She-Hulk, I believed it, that they're family
Yeah.
and they've known
They
each
had really
other.
good on. Yeah, they
Yeah,
had
yeah,
really
yeah.
good on screen chemistry. Yeah. The thing that bugged me out, and to be honest, like it was a good casting to the point that even like on a genetic level, it was believable.
Yeah, I see
Yeah,
that.
like
Exactly.
it's like I see this family tree, kind of, sort of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the reason the quote unquote blood transfusion happened on the show was because of a fucking Sicarian ship. Which that's insane because wasn't that the same planet that he was on for
Thor
Thor
Ragnarok.
3? Yeah.
Exactly. Which then comes full circle towards the end of the season of the series because we get the big reveal that Scar, his son from the comic books, is introduced, right? Because in the show, right, we get the Sicarian ship that just shows up to give a message and drives them off the fucking cliff or some shit,
Yeah.
and leads to this accident, right? But exactly, but that's a deep cut, right? Because too, like as you said, right, from Thor Ragnarok when Hulk leaves Avengers Age of Ultron, that he stays in the ship and just leaves, right? He ends up crashing in Sakaar and then leads to all the things that we saw happen in Thor Ragnarok, right? and
Yeah.
comes back. Apparently, he still stayed in contact with people from Sakaar. We don't know what. We don't know what's happening. This probably seems it's all going to get explained in a forthcoming Hulk movie. Um, and apparently, obviously, it leads that he actually, I guess, had a baby mama or something out there and went to go pick up his
Wow,
son.
that's crazy.
That's
That's
crazy.
because he didn't ask the Hulk. Like shit.
Yo. So that'll be so. Let's dive into that actually right now first, just because I'm curious to get your thoughts on because we saw Scar just CGI at the very end, just showing up to this random family lunch, with
Or
him. What were your thoughts on that?
well, my initial thought was he looks a bit chunkier than in the comics. Because I think he's like a bit more I want to say just a tad more lean in the comics, right?
A bit, yeah, a bit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think so.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
right.
Yeah. And of course, like it was a standard CGI for Disney Plus, so it definitely could have been better. But overall, one, that's a giant bomb because if I'm not mistaken, he plays a major role in the comics, right?
Well, to some degree, yeah. I don't know. It's difficult to define major, but he's like, yeah, I don't know. Actually, right now in the comics, I don't know what the hell he's doing right now. But it's
Okay, fine, fair enough, fair enough,
yeah,
fair enough.
yeah, yeah.
But in the MCU, which I would say is a tad bit like it's a bit less uneventful than the comics. Like there's less shit going on in the MCU than there is in the comic book Marvel world. You know what I mean? Like just
Right,
on average, this is a giant bomb. If you think about it, like he's canon, he's there.
right.
Yo, I think that shit you said in our last episode about the Thunderbolts and just there being a bunch of Hulks, dude. I think this is like just the cement is drying on your theory. Like that shit is about to be concrete.
Right. We'll see what happens with the potential World War Hulks, right? Not to be confused with World War Hulk. Although they've been mentioning that they may do something like a World War Hulk too, but I don't know. So I guess just to show, all right, so we saw Scar, and so we'll see what happens. We already know it's going to be incredibly different from what we had in the comic books because Scar comes from the Planet Hulk, World War Hulk storyline, which was an
Yeah.
awesome, awesome storyline that we did not see happen in the movies, in the MCU at all, where basically what ends up happening in those stories is the Illuminati, which is like Xavier, Reed, Richards, right, Iron Man,
Black Bolt,
yeah, Black
Neymar,
Bolt, Black Panther,
Doctor
all
Strange.
basically find Hulk too dangerous to remain on Earth
Yeah.
because he's not the smart Hulk that we see, in the movie right now. It was more like just a typical savage Hulk, and he ends up getting sent. Like they're like, "All right, peace out, bro," and they take him off. They just send him on a ship to be like there's gonna be someone else's problem. And by accident, he ends up crashing in Sakaar, where he becomes a slave, and so which is then it's dark. It's dark, and then he joins forces with other slaves and basically dethrones the ruler Sakaar, and he becomes the king of Sakaar. And during all that, he falls in love with this other warrior, and then which is all cool, and then but then she ends up getting pregnant. And what ends up happening is that
After
when
hardcore Hulk sex.
hardcore Hulk sex, all right, unprotected hardcore.
Like imagine the Hulk busting a nut. Like,
Yeah.
damn. Anyway.
You can imagine what kind of a warrior this woman must have been to withstand
then
fucking Hulk pounding, fucking Hulk
balls
smash.
balls deep Hulk.
Yo, man. But what ends up happening in the book is
Hashtag balls deep Hulk.
yeah, man. But then it gets sad because after all that balls deep fucking Hulk smashing, she ends up dying. She ends up dying while pregnant because the ship.
From the balls deep Hulk.
Well, that's not, probably that might have been the reason. But what ends up happening is the ship in which the Hulk came back in, that came to Sakaarian, blows up, and
Damn.
so he blames the Illuminati. He thinks that they rigged the ship to explode to kill him, ends up killing his wife and his unborn son, and then he's like, let's go back to Earth. I'm gonna fuck everybody up.
Woo.
And that's what leads to World War Hulk. because then he comes to Earth to fucking fuck. Basically, he fucks up with everybody. They just because come on, it's fucking Hulk on the rampage with a basically a mini army of all these warriors from Sakaar. Like,
These hands are rated E for everyone.
nah. Man, for real. But what ends up happening is that he ends up finding out that Scar actually is still born. He survives all this shit, and then Scar basically grows up without his parents in one of these most harshest environments to grow up in, and then ends up basically coming to Earth to kind of challenge good old dad and shit. And so I don't think we're gonna get such a dark story like in the MCU.
Like everything that you just said, everything, we might get like a conversation of Bruce explaining him. That's about it.
That's about it.
Maybe a flashback or two. But like that shit you just described is like would probably cost hundreds of millions of dollars to create in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
So they just threw him in there, like there he is.
And it'll be too dark for them to do too anyway, right? Because like we already saw the whole Sakaar, the Planet Hulk type story was very light because it was Thor Ragnarok with Taika Waititi, none of that. Like Hulk wasn't a slave; he was a celebrity on this planet, right? As a gladiator, and very different thing. And he didn't become ruler of the planet like he did in the comic books. He kind of just left.
Yeah, exact word. He just dipped.
He just did. Yeah, he basically got what was the name of the elder of the universe who was running it? The game master. No, wasn't it? It's Jeff Goldblum, but
yeah. Let's go with the fact that it was Jeff Goldblum because he's so epic that he would be the dude that ran that planet.
Yeah, because it was him exactly. But so then his name, he plays the Grandmaster. Yeah,
Grandmaster. Yeah, you're pretty close.
Yeah, and so they just end up basically, dethroning him, and then they're like, all right, peace out. And they leave.
Word. Facts.
Anyway, but so we got all that from basically the first episode of the She-Hulk to the last episode of She-Hulk. We got Scar, and so we're looking forward to seeing that. I'm seeing actually, we're talking about on the internet, a lot of people hating how Scar looks, specifically his hairline. I don't know if you saw, like he has like a little fade thing, and then like his hair's all the way up into here. Like, what were your thoughts on that?
To be honest, I didn't care. Like, I thought the overall look was cool. Like,
yes.
Yo, first world problems at their finest. You know what I'm saying? Like,
bro,
like we got a She-Hulk show, and Scar is canon in the MCU, and people are complaining about his hair.
Bro.
Like, dude, he's an alien. He's an alien, one. So it's out, like his style is not what we're used to. So it's like I said, hashtag first world problems. That's insane.
I love it too because I saw it. I didn't think anything. I was just like, "Oh, it's cool, Scar. All right, whatever. We'll see what happens." Exactly. And then I go online. They're like, "What the fuck's up with this hairline? Like, oh my god, this is horrible. Why did it fuck up his look so much, man? What's going on?" I'm like, "Wait, who cares, man?"
What? Like, exactly.
I'm like, I didn't even like. It's not like, wait, what? So yeah, okay. Who cares?
But along the way, what I was very pleased about was the other cameos we got. One of the first big ones was Emil Blonsky, all the way back from what was the second Hulk? What was his name?
I think The Incredible Hulk was the movie.
Yeah. But the actor, something Norton,
Edward Norton. Yeah,
Edward Norton. We finally got Emil Blonsky back. The actor aged pretty well. I forgot that dude's name.
Tim Roth.
Yeah, Tim Roth. And oddly enough, correct me if I'm wrong. Now I'm just realizing this. I think his CGI was better than She-Hulk's.
I think so too, actually.
Well, was it because like on average they had to use, like do it more for her?
Yes,
this was like a one-time thing.
I think it's because of that, exactly. Because you say they kind of talked a little bit about that with the big ending, right? Like we'll get into the season finale, but how much expensive it must be to CGI the She-Hulk every episode, and so versus she's CGIing the Abomination basically 2 episodes. The only side,
yeah.
And so it's like because if you reduce the quality in She-Hulk, one day one episode you put a lot of money to CGI, one day you don't, you'll notice it. You'll be like, whoa, what the fuck? Why does she look so different?
Yeah, word.
Versus just keeping it mediocre all throughout. You're like, all right, you get used to it. And with Emil Blonsky, it's two times. You're like, all right, it was good.
Yeah. It's like he was in 1080 and she was in like 720.
Mm-hmm.
But his cameo, and I would say his appearance could be considered a cameo, even though like it's on and off throughout the show. Kind of makes a very seamless connection for the Disney Plus shows and even the MCU in general, because the last time we saw him was in Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When
You're
they went to
right.
Madripoor.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Mm-hmm.
was with Wong, who we also get in the show.
Ooh.
So it's like, even though people hated this show, is like you can't deny the efforts that were made in trying to make it like one cohesive world.
And
This is
like,
one of the shows that staples it the most.
and in ways that was fucking fun, man.
And
Right?
fluid, like it
Yo,
was seamless.
exactly, because you're right. We saw in Shang-Chi that Abomination was just fucking fighting Wong. It's like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
then they left. Like, all right, what? And then what I love it is correct because now this whole show is set that she's now, because she became a She-Hulk, she got fired basically from the law firm she was in, and now she's in another law firm, but she's specifically hired to
Hired
be
to be
She-Hulk,
She-Hulk.
right? To take care of these all kind of meta type of superhuman legal shit. And the first case was to represent Emil Blonsky, right? Because of the shit of Shang-Chi, right? Because they were like,
Yeah.
one, you're going up for a parole hearing or something, right? And then also two, like, we see that you left. Like the
Yeah,
fucking
word.
there's like a movie. There's a whole movie. There's a whole YouTube shit clip of you fighting, man. Like, what's up with that? And like, that's wonderful, and that's awesome that it got flipped into this like legal type of story, and with Jennifer Walters with us trying to figure out what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
And then so cool connecting it with Wong that he needed Emil Blonsky to help with some shit, and they did it, and I don't know, I loved it.
Yeah, and he ended up becoming, like a super peaceful cult leader, which, jumping a bit to the finale, I like the way it looked to me, he didn't know that those guys were intelligentsia. You know what I mean?
Right.
I thought he thought that he was like an actual life coach for them,
Right.
but he ended up that he was getting used.
Right, because Chess is talking about how we know that when he gets out of prison, to this supermax facility, right, then he ends up opening having this retreat where he just basically he's like a life coach, Zen dude, providing retreats for people, which is
Nice.
kind of fun, and especially specifically for like type of hero superpowered people. But for the finale, right, he does this speaking gig, right, as the life coach for this, and exactly, I don't think he knew what the intelligentsia was about, but the thing about it, I think, was just us to see that he's still not obviously a great guy, right? Because he was breaking his the terms of his parole
Yeah. I was just thinking that
to
too. Yeah.
become an abomination, and he straight up said it in the episode. He's like, "Oh, I only do this for profit." Like, I just it's
Yeah.
right because he's like, I want money, and which is a very like cool. Like, all right, yeah, you didn't become a hero. Like, you're still a little shady, bro. Like, like
He's
you
still a
really
little bit of a piece of shit. Like,
exactly, man. Like, you really shouldn't do that, man. Like,
but yeah,
yeah,
like I definitely enjoyed having him in the show. I'm so glad they used Wong so much, because him being first introduced in like the top level of the MCU in the movies, every time we get a character from the movies in the shows, it brings a bit more of just like weight to the show. You know what I mean? And I'm glad they did that with Wong, and like it also shows like how much of a different Sorcerer Supreme he is from Doctor Strange, because it also let you know how much of a pretentious dick like Strange is.
exactly, exactly.
Wong
Yeah,
is like the everyman Sorcerer Supreme.
hell yes, bro. I love the Wong, man. Exactly. No, and especially that exactly because I even love that whole episode with Madison. Oh my
Yeah,
god, I fucking
is
loved
not
it.
where you think.
So it's like, yeah, it's Madison with a Y, right? That's what she says.
Also, she was bad, low key.
Yo, yeah, for real, though, for real, for real. Like, I love that because see, that's what I mean. Like, man, like even that episode, that was fucking stupid, right? Like, the whole Madison character
Yeah.
is stupid. It's a joke, but they did it well. Like, I don't feel like I didn't feel like it just como he said crashed. I don't think it was jarring with the show. Like how I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
a lot of these other MCU shows and movies are like, you have this kind of thing the director's trying to do, and then it's like, oh, but comedy right here, take that, suck it.
Force it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, oh, okay, we're
Laugh
back to
at
like,
this.
Yeah, but no, now let's go back to talking about how, the blip fucked up the world, and now we have refugees, and Winter Soldier and Falcon wants to become Captain America. Is like, wait, what? Is all
Yeah,
right.
word,
We're
exactly.
gonna,
And like, but damn, like that show was dark. Yo, Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
yeah,
like
yeah.
compared to this shit, like that show was pretty fucking wild. That shit was dark
Word.
as fuck.
Man, but I love Wong, man. Wong, the everyday man,
Wongers.
fucking Wongers, fucking. Oh, I love that, man. And then related to that, right? Another one that we got actually Meg the Stallion appear, which was another
Facts.
one that a lot of people got.
That
Gave.
shit was polarizing.
Yo,
I
my
am
God.
shocked at how polarizing that shit was.
All because, right, there was an Asgardian who's a shapeshifter, was pretending to be Meg the Stallion, and then basically conning people. And then so She-Hulk was involved legally with that. And then, so that's how we got to see a cameo from Meg the Stallion. And the big thing was obviously at the end is that, she's a big fan of her, and then they end up twerking.
For 45 seconds or less.
Yeah. It was like a little, and it was like a post-credits scene thing, right? Like it's not in
Yep.
the show, and it's like,
Exactly. Like it mattered. It's crazy how much that became the focus of the episode. And it was after the episode for 30 to 45 seconds, if that. Like I might be off by 30 seconds at most.
man.
And it was just a fun little clip. And that's the shit that got the most attention. Yo, everything I saw before I saw that episode was about that part of the episode that wasn't part of the episode.
Right.
That shit was bonkers.
And it's like I don't understand it. I don't understand why did people hate it. Like I don't understand. It's like like from the beginning throughout the episode, like Jennifer Walters is like, wait, what? Meg the Stallion? Like she like indicating that she's a
She's a
fan, right?
fan.
And she's like,
She's a
oh my
fan.
fucking god, this is dope. This is a fan. This is cool. And then for whatever reason, towards the end, right, she ends up like signing up to represent her, which makes you wonder, does Meg the Stallion in the MCU have powers, right? Because like why
Yeah,
is she needing
word.
super legal kind of stuff? And then it leads to them, like putting on some music and dancing together, which is like people fucking do. Women especially do as well. They'll feel more comfortable to dance with each other. And if you have Meg the fucking Stallion in your office and she says, "Yeah, sure, let's dance," you're gonna fucking dance. You're gonna fucking twerk. Like what's how does that not make any sense,
I
man?
mean, an argument could be made that I'm sure that doesn't happen at top tier legal firms all the time in corner offices. But even being aside from that, like, what the fuck? Like,
Nah,
it
nah,
was
nah.
such a minor moment
I actually think it happens almost
all the time.
exclusively in top tier legal offices, because there's those top tier legal offices, they have so much cocaine all over the offices. And I'm
Fueled by
sure, like,
cocaine and Adderall.
yo, dude, come on, at 5 fucking p.m. they're probably like, yeah, all right, let's do cocaine, whiskey, let's dance, man. Especially because we're representing Meg the
Facts.
Stallion. Let's do this, man.
Facts.
Also,
Put
I
some
want to
cocaine in your whiskey.
exactly, like, come on. Also, I do want to give a shout out to Tatiana Maslany, because we as Latinos, we know how, like, with some white people, with some white women may not be able to move that well,
Yeah.
especially to twerk and that kind of stuff. But actually, that was her. That she
In the
was
suit, yeah, in the mocap suit.
in the mocap suit. That was her fucking dancing, shaking her ass, twerking. Not bad. Not
Not
bad.
bad. I was
Not bad.
impressed.
And she's not just a white woman. She's a Canadian like white woman. Like from like with also like I don't know, like fucking Middle Eastern, not Middle Eastern, excuse me, like Eastern European background, which is like white, right? And then like oh shit, she's
That was
got it.
some up north twerking, so to speak.
Man, but people hated on that, which is
It's so wild, dude. Like it was almost like that moment, which once again was not part of the episode, became bigger than the whole show.
right. I saw some funny memes actually about that too, because like some people were saying we were talking right now actually about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and if
Yeah.
you remember, there was that one scene where they go into a club with fucking Baron Zemo, and then
Yeah.
Baron Zemo starts to dance like a fucking nerd in the thing, and
Facts.
then that became a whole thing. Like people
Yeah.
loved it. It was a fucking meme and a gif, and so many people were sharing that shit, loving it, right? But so it's like, all right, in one place, Baron Simo dances in the club. Everyone's like, we love this. In another, She-Hulk dances with fucking Meg Thee Stallion, and people like fucking lose their minds. They're like, fuck this shit. Why? How is
Well, I
one
mean,
thing different than the other?
it's also that other pink elephant in the room. There's so many pink elephants in this room. Comic fans aren't usually like rap slash hip hop fans. So there's also that.
Oh, there's a little race element there.
Yeah. So there's also
Chaz, are you telling me right now then instead of Meg Thee Stallion, if let's say she was there dancing with like Taylor Swift or like
it still would have
you
gotten
know,
hate, but not as much.
not as much. Exactly. Not as much. You're right. You are
Yep.
100% right. You're
Yep.
100%
There was
shit.
definitely that. Yeah, because there was also that like anti-urban music sentiment there too.
Yo, I hadn't thought about that. You're right. That it's not just a hate towards women in this kind of moment. It's also about yeah, they were being racist too. They were just about like yeah.
It's like the layers of hatred.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Hashtag toxic humanity,
And
man, for
eggs,
real.
you know, toxic humanity. People are shit.
Oh, man. But then we get the best cameo of fucking all that I
Woo!
hope would save humanity. I feel like this is the thing we fucking need as a society. We got a whole episode with my boy Charlie Cox back as Matt Murdock and
Bro,
Daredevil.
that episode was so epic that I felt like Putin saw that episode and he was like, nah, let me see the Daredevil show first, then I'm gonna launch nukes.
Exactly. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah. Like
I'm
yo,
gonna wait.
like I want to see Born Again. Then, depending on it's renewed or not, then we'll see where this whole war thing goes. That shit is gonna drive geopolitical conflict.
I'm with it. All right, good. And I believe in Charlie Cox. Especially after what we saw, which
Oh
was
my god!
also a little bit polarizing to some degree too, because people are gonna the people who've been hating on She-Hulk from the beginning hated
Of
on this
course,
as well too.
oh
But
they
look, I'm a big fucking Daredevil fan. That even there's been moments. If you listen to our last episode about Comic-Con,
yeah,
you'll hear about me hating because Spider-Man's my number one character. I love Spider-Man, but
of course.
I hate the current run. I hated the last run. I don't love the current run at all. Daredevil doesn't disappoint. Even Daredevil's current run is fucking amazing. I think that Daredevil might be my next new number one. I don't know. It might be too soon.
Damn,
But I love Daredevil. I love the fucking series on Netflix. I'm actually rewatching it again now. I'm
that's
watching the
awesome.
I'm watching the Defender so I can rewatch their season 3. I thought that this Matt Murdock that we saw, this Daredevil, I don't think it was a watered down, Disneyfied, like too Rabs. We didn't get blood. We didn't get as much. But I still think it's the same fucking character, man.
I'm
I
gonna
love it.
disagree. I'm
Well,
gonna
then
disagree.
fuck you. Like then I
God,
got toxic. I'm
yeah,
like I don't want
yeah.
to talk no more. Fuck this shit.
Fuck this shit.
Cancel
I
Ches.
was that hasn't been said in a while.
You're right.
But he didn't let me fucking finish. I
Let's
was
get
gonna
into
say
it.
that I don't disagree a lot because it felt mostly the same. I would say it was about 75 to 80% the same character. His tone felt just a little bit lighter, but you could even tell like the way that he was hitting dudes, the way that he was fighting, like it felt familiar. But it felt a little bit watered down. It wasn't Disney fight, I would say, but he felt a little bit watered down.
Look, for me, I've heard the comment about like, oh, he's not this charming, he's not this charismatic, he's not this like he doesn't make these kind of jokes. I beg to disagree. In the
Yeah, I was gonna
show,
say I've heard that he does, like in the comics.
in the comics, he 100% does. Like, and it depends. Is what I love about Matt Murdock in the comics, Daredevil, is that his mood goes up and down, man. And then there's moments like when he's like, you know what, the world is great, fuck all this shit, and he but in a sick way because he's like avoiding shit, and so then he's just very happy. And then he gets very brooding and guilt driven and so wonderful like that back and forth. But also, come on the show, in the Netflix series, we saw him being charming. We saw him being funny and likable and
Yep.
making jokes here and there. And like, what was different this time is because this time we saw him like from the beginning, he was flirting, you know. He
Word.
he saw, well, quote unquote, he didn't see, but you know what we you know what we
Pun
he
intended.
when Jennifer Walters, and so he was kind of like, oh shit, okay, I'm gonna bring my A game, right? He wasn't gonna be all fucking dark and fucking brooding with her. Like he was gonna be like, I kind of want to hit that. I'm gonna
After
be,
he schooled her in court,
oh, oh my God.
that was an ass whooping.
Yo, bro, Daredevil kicked ass, man. Like he flew from New York
Matt
to
Murdock
fucking
kicked ass.
LA, man. Matt Murdock kicked ass. He won a fucking case, schooled Jennifer Walters in the fucking his legal prowess was epic, man. And then
Word.
he kicked ass as Daredevil, right? And then he fucking had sex with She-Hulk with Jennifer Walters, man. God damn, dude. That guy was winning.
Facts. OD. The only thing that I did hate, the way that people felt about her twerking, which I didn't feel that way at all, was the way I felt about the walk of shame. That was fucking
Ah.
stupid. Because just like to be all in costume out there like that in the daytime, you're just walking around like that's just fucking dumb.
I thought it was fine. I didn't care about it. Because I felt like you know what? Look, like Daredevil is a hero in New York. Who knows how many people know him there, right? Obviously, not even She-Hulk knew him. But then everybody knows who Jennifer Walters She-Hulk is. So it's not like
Yeah.
he's putting her at risk for anything. You know, it's like but it was just, I thought it was a little funny because also it looked like the houses were a little small too. So then how is he gonna like what is he gonna do? Just jump through roof on roof? He's like fuck. I'm just gonna walk through this little suburban neighborhood until I can go do something
Nah,
like that can get out.
dude, fucking order an Uber. Come on now.
That
Like,
would have
like,
been better. That would have been
yeah,
better to see him get into an Uber, like She-Hulk,
exactly.
Jennifer Walters in the morning, be like, so your Uber's here? Matt making breakfast or something, and she's
Facts.
like, you know what? You kind of gotta go. The
See,
Uber's here already.
that would have been funnier. To
That
be
would have been
honest,
better.
that would have
That
been
would have been
funnier.
better. That would
See,
have been funnier, yeah. But
fuck.
that would have been then toxic femininity too, or
OD.
something what shit trolls would have said
Yeah.
probably.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Either way,
Exactly.
fuck
Whatever. Whatever. I was so happy. I've seen that episode 3 times already.
it. Damn.
I love fucking because even we got that little cool, almost just like Netflix that hallway fight scene,
Facts.
which was
They
cool. We
paid
actually
they paid
we
homage.
oh my god. So we didn't get, and also it was kind of cool. I don't know if you peeped. We saw him have like that chain in his ¿cómo se llama?
The Billy Club.
The Billy Club exactly with the chain, which I
Yeah.
don't think we saw that in the series before.
I think yeah. It's
I don't know.
connected. It's connected. I remember seeing a cable at some point.
Maybe in season 3, then that's why I kind of want to watch it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that was fucking dope, man. Like I love
Yeah, word.
that. I like that. And actually, I was surprised too of how much I was okay with the fucking mustard and ketchup color suit. I was like, it's not actually not. It's not too. I would prefer the red one, the dark red. But
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
what
But
did you
yeah,
think of
like
it?
they pulled it off. Like now I refer to it as gold. But
Yeah.
but it's pretty dope. The reason that we got Daredevil I thought was pretty cool because they have like the West Coast version of the dude who designs costumes.
Right.
And that whole concept, of course, I would love some background on the character. Like, how the fuck did you end up? Like he's like the Edna, which
Yeah.
who's like the lady that makes the costumes.
Incredibles.
Yeah, the Incredibles. I enjoyed that character. I forgot his name. And like he was making a suit for Matt. He got kidnapped. So
By
he
Leapfrog.
yeah, by Leapfrog. And to win the case, he called in a favor. And that's who he got the legal ass whooping. But like, I love that concept. And to be honest, I really like the suit. And I love the way it works, man. Like, I can't wait to see Born Again. And who knows? We might even get some tweak to the suits. Like, this whole thing kind of felt like a big test, just like like a massive focus group for the new Daredevil.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a trip, right? Because I don't know, like, do I want to see that suit in the Daredevil Born Again? I don't know. Like, maybe at the beginning, and then I'll see him switch up to like the one he had before,
Yeah.
or a different one, more like a black one that he's had in the books too. whatever. But like what we have right now wasn't too bad. And what was I happy about is because we got Kingpin already, right? We got Kingpin and Hawkeye,
Yeah,
who I didn't love, who I did feel that Kingpin and Hawkeye felt way more different than what Daredevil and
facts.
She-Hulk felt compared to the predecessors in the Netflix series.
Yeah, like he definitely didn't feel as dark.
Yeah, and also his power set was more like
Yeah, he got
big.
nerfed for sure.
Yo,
Like,
for
yeah, yeah,
real, man. He looked bigger. It's like weird. I don't know. It was just way too much. But here, this one was just fucking Daredevil. Like I don't know. You saw him do the same shit.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love that I
Facts.
saw She-Hulk clap,
That was
right?
dope. Yeah,
And then
that was dope.
because then that made sense that that would fucking knock him down, man. Especially with his hearing. Like, come on.
Yeah, like I
Ah.
felt like in this show they tested out a lot of different things, and just like I said, how this Daredevil just kind of felt like a massive, like a bit of like a focus group. I think it's the same for the Kingpin and Hawkeye. I think
Mm.
like we're gonna see some tweaks to both characters when it comes time for Born Again.
You're right. You know what? You're right. Probably they heard everything that we said because they listened to
Yeah,
our show,
specifically us. Yeah,
specifically
exactly.
us. And they were like, all right, we kind of fucked up with Kingpin. We can't do that with Daredevil. We got to make it better. Let's see. And now they're going to listen to this episode. And right now, Kevin Feige, good job. Good job.
Yeah, exactly.
Well
Yeah,
done.
facts. You're heading in the right direction.
wait,
All right, let's rate that some bitch.
we got to do just two more little things. Two more things I wanted to mention. Right.
Ah, go for
One
it. Yeah.
was that I was excited when they mentioned the intelligentsia, that being kind of the team,
Oh,
right? Which is
yeah,
like this,
facts.
like, it was this kind of like 4chan fucking type of,
Incel.
hmm group because in the comic book, the Intelligentsia was kind of like a not that it was a super important team, but it was a villain-led group. I mean, it was a group of villains which was led by none other than Samuel Stearns, who's the leader, who's one of the
Mm.
main villains in the Hulk lore. Like he could be the biggest villain,
Who's
and
coming
so.
back for Thunderbolts?
Exactly. Who he's coming back? No, no. He's coming back for the Captain America film,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
New World Order film. That's where he's coming back. So, and then who we're gonna hopefully see him fully become the leader because in the movie, The Incredible Hulk, he doesn't become the leader, which is basically you're thinking about if the Hulk only became smart when he became the Hulk, right? Because that's the whole thing with the leader. He gets
Oh no,
he
but
got.
wait, but doesn't it end up with him about to become the leader? Because
Mm-hmm,
isn't
mm-hmm.
like a thing drip on his forehead, and
Yeah,
then you see his brain start to expand.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's bound to happen. Exactly. So we're gonna go see him become that. So it would have been cool to have gotten some kind of a tease that maybe
Yeah.
this is what the
Word.
intelligence is involved because like in the comic books, it's the leader with a bunch of other villains from like Fantastic Four villains and it's different kinds of people. And so it would be cool. Who knows if that kind of still plays a role? Also, why is it important too? Because as we said from the previous theories that we've had, the intelligentsia in the comic books, they're responsible for creating the Red Hulk, which was Thaddeus
Mm,
Thunderbolt Ross, right?
yeah.
Who we know is also coming back for the Winter Soldier for the no, not Winter, the Captain America 4 movie.
As
Uh,
Harrison Ford.
yo, those are the strong rumors because obviously, the actor that plays Thunderbolt Ross passed away.
R.I.P.
Which was what was his name? William
Uh,
Hurt.
yeah.
Yeah, William Hurt passed away, and so now they're thinking about casting Harrison fucking Ford, man, for the role.
That's gonna be epic.
And so, because in the comic books, they kind of work with him because everybody hates the Hulk in that world, and so then they're able to kind of through a different way capture gamma radiation to give it to Thaddeus Ross for him to become the Red Hulk. And so, with everything that happened in the series about taking She-Hulk's blood to then try to give the Hulk power to other people. I was like, and even in the show, right? In I think in the
Word.
like She-Hulk and when she was breaking the fourth wall made a comment about maybe we're gonna get a red Hulk, right? Or a Hulk that's a red one.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, oh shit.
And shit, as a matter of fact, like the dude who created intelligence in the show, one of the guys that she met through the dating app, he should have just injects himself and he becomes a manner of a Hulk in
Yeah,
the show.
right, right. So who knows what may come from that? I kind of wanted a little bit more of the intelligentsia in the show, more so than just like a
It
legit just like
it
fucking
being a bunch of
incels.
incels.
Hmm.
But yeah,
But
sure. Who
you know,
knows? Who knows? Who knows? They could be just saving it.
because we did see, when they were with the handling the blood and that kind of stuff, it did seem like a sophisticated sci-fi lab, so there may be still something there. You're right that they might have still been, who knows, maybe Samuel Stearns was funding still to some degree
Exactly.
the
Or maybe like a
intelligentsia.
partner or some shit. You know what I mean? Like a silent
Mm-hmm.
partner. But like you said, like a post credit scene or something, or like a tease would have definitely been appreciated if that was the
Exactly.
case.
Exactly. All right. So so we'll see where that goes, because that'd be cool to see be coming to fruition. But yeah, but the last thing I wanted to ask you, bro, is also, so what did you think about the finale? Because this finale, I think, was the weirdest, most different finale we've had in the past. What do you think?
Oh, dude, I was shocked at the amount of fourth wall and fifth wall breaking because we got to see the MCU's version of Kevin Feige, which I forgot what the acronym of Kevin stood for, which is
Oh, right.
basically almost like a quantum computer AI. So they address like the formulaic way they do Marvel movies and the way they end and the cost of shit. It was pretty dope. Like it felt very refreshing.
Yeah,
Like
so Kevin stands for Knowledge Enhanced Visual Interconnectivity Nexus.
Jesus Christ.
Right, right. Look,
Jesus Christ.
I I liked
That was
it.
dope though.
I thought it was fun. Yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought it was very unexpected, right? Because obviously it's basically right. So as the story keeps going, She-Hulk doesn't like this story happening, and so she ends up just breaking the fourth wall, basically to the fifth wall, whatever, and then actually entering basically what seems to be our universe, right?
Yeah, word.
Harassing the rumor writers for the show, and then getting to talk to quote unquote Kevin, right? To then change it up, right? I thought that was cool. I like that, but I didn't love it though, because I still
Mm.
think I don't like then then the story just wraps up, because like when then that happens, and then the Kevin says like, all right, we're not gonna have Hulk battle Abomination, we're gonna remove the blood plot storyline, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden then she's back, and then the police is already there, and they've already
Facts.
they've already grabbed the guy who's the fucking leader of the intelligentsia, the Hulk King guy, who's the biggest insult, and he's like, wait, what happened? How was he stopped? Wait, did he become the Hulk or not? What happened there? How did you guys how did you call the cops? And Tatiana was, I mean, Titania was there. She showed up randomly. Why was
Just
Titania
chilling
there?
and shit. Like
How did she show up all of a sudden? What the fuck is she doing there? And then Daredevil literally just drops from the
out of
sky
nowhere. Yeah,
out
we're
of nowhere, which is like, all right, you guys are kind of
talking
pushing
about
it up.
jumping the shark.
Yo, yeah, I was like, this is a bit too much. Like, so I was like, I would have liked to still have had a nice way to wrap up the story within the story, rather than doing the whole thing about stepping outside to fix it on the outside, and then you just come back to it, and then the story's just fixed, and it's like, okay. So
Like it
that,
felt a bit messy, even though they addressed it was messy.
mm-hmm. They could have used some time to clean it up. Like I think like they really wanted to do the whole bit about like, oh yeah, let's show her walking through, the studios and going
Yeah,
into the
yeah,
writer room
exactly.
and then fighting people as she goes up to Kevin. Like I'm like, you could have, I don't know. Like you could have, I guess it was a good bit, but like I don't know. You really you did that. So you sacrificed the story to do that.
Like it felt a bit forced.
Yeah, exactly. But like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get it. Like it kind of goes with everything they've been talking about. But maybe either I don't know. Maybe have added 30 more minutes of the show, or another episode, or I don't know. But
Yeah,
eh,
facts.
that
Facts
that
for sure.
that part for me was like that. Honestly, it was the episode I liked the least out of the series.
Damn. That's
Hmm.
interesting.
I was happy to see my boy Matt back though. I love
Yeah,
fucking Matt.
facts. OD. OD.
Yeah, and
That
then we
was
got that
fucking awesome.
random Hulk and his son Scar thing. Like, okay, like
Out of nowhere, such a major bomb.
right.
It
Out
just
of
like
nowhere.
yeah, it felt a little bit all over the place for sure.
Yeah.
Facts. Facts. All right. Now, what do you give it?
Ooh, all right, let's do this. This is the official LoC patented review.
Rating.
Yo, come on. Exactly.
That's our
Fucking
technology.
mad math, mad computations happening right now. People like Rotten Tomatoes. Some people like IGN. No. The real people, fucking the people that know the shit, watch our reviews. They need our
Facts.
numbers.
We use quantum computing.
Fuck. What am I gonna give She-Hulk, man? What am I gonna give She-Hulk?
I know what I'm gonna give it already.
Do it. What are you gonna give? What are you gonna give it?
I give it a 7.5.
Ooh, 7.5. All right. Okay. Mine's definitely higher than that. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Damn.
8.5. I'm being
That's
generous with the
wild.
0.5, but I'm giving it to them. All right. So we
You're being
give them.
generous with the 8.
Nah, shut the fuck up. Come on. Like for instance, did you think this was better than Moon Knight or the same?
I'd say about the same.
Because you gave it the same. Yeah, you gave Moon Knight a 7.5.
Bro, I'm fucking consistent.
You're considered, but I gave Moon Knight a 7. I thought this was way better than Moon Knight. I enjoyed this a lot more, man. I'm trying to see what other shows. Miss Marvel. Do you think was this better or worse than Miss or about the same as Miss Marvel?
Worse.
Yeah, you are consistent, sir. You gave Miss Marvel an 8, bro.
See, dude, I fucking know my shit.
Nah, bro, this was better than Miss Marvel because I gave Miss Marvel a 7.
Myself, bro.
I gave Miss Marvel a 7, and I gave this as 8.5. We are consistent. We know each other. We know. All right, so this brings us to a solid 8. The LoZ gives She-Hulk an 8 in ocho.
Fair enough. That sounds about right.
Sounds about right. All right. Cool. All right, would you be down for a season 2 of She-Hulk?
Yeah. Seeing what they've played around with in season 1, I'd be down.
Yeah, exactly. I'm down too. I'd be down too. All right.
Yeah. On that note, hopefully we get a season 2. We don't know yet. I don't think it's been renewed yet, right?
No. There's nothing about it yet.
So we'll find out unless we get her in movies going forward.
Yeah. Although Kevin in the season finale said no. Straight up told her, yeah. Like no.
Facts. So shit. All we could do is fucking hope for the best. All right, folks. This is Chaz.
This is Miguel.
Deuces.
Peace.